There are very few words to describe the complex legacy that JT Barrett will leave behind at Ohio State. Perhaps one of them is dichotomy. The common consensus in the Blackhawks locker room is that they're playing pretty good hockey as of late. It's unfortunately just not coming along with the results.
Last night you were playing at Johnny's Ice House, and tonight you make your NHL debut in front of this great crowd. Describe what the last 24 hours have been like for you.
Happy Monday, everybody. It is time for BTN Live. Sean Morris in the house with us today. Stanley Jackson joining us from Columbus, the three best friends that anyone could have.
Dave, I woke up with the biggest smile on my face. Man, I missed you guys this offseason. Is there a better way for us to kick off our junior year of tailgate than in Iowa City? Are you kidding me? This is a night game, and these fans were out here at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. You guys showed up today, and guess what we have in store for you in this show lineup?
You mentioned it. This team is special. Regardless of what the College Football Playoff Committee decides, what makes this team a remarkable one in your eyes?
Well, it's just the people involved in it. And
the Stanley Cup will be right here in Nashville as we welcome you outside the concourse of Bridgestone Arena for some NHL now, for some fun. I'm Michelle McMahon, joined by EJ Raddick and Steve Mears.
It took 14 years for you to get to the playoffs, and now you get to lift the Stanley Cup. Put into words what this means to your career.
Ozzy, at 20 years old, what does this All-Star Game appearance mean to you?
The world pulled away.
On the other side, Indiana losing 3 straight games. Now they haven't won in 2 weeks. What's your level of concern right now for the Hoosiers?
Well, if you're a Hoosiers fan.
What a scene it was in Nashville as the Predators crawled their way back into the Stanley Cup final, tying it up 2-2 at home as we welcome in Dan Rosen from NHL.com to make sense of the madness. First of all, your reaction to games 3 and 4 from Nashville in the first ever Stanley Cup final.
The games themselves
just keep peppering that net, right?
Guys! Quit taking it easy on me, first of all. We got a show to do.
A perfect example of just how hard it is to make it to the postseason is a player like Ron Hainsey. He's played 14 years in the NHL and up until this point had 0 playoff game experience, and now he is playing for a Stanley Cup. And in true Ron Hainsey witty fashion, he summed up his career to this point earlier to the media.
You know what? In order for me to get through this show, I had to put my blindfold on to keep this evil entity away from me the rest of the time. I'm just kidding. Producer Ross, that was fun.
That was fun.
He's been up since 4:30 a.m. this morning putting that together.
As the Chicago Blackhawks look to take the early lead against the New York Islanders, they once again will have to do it without the injured Artem Anisimov, who is out for his 10th straight game after the injury he sustained on December 28th in that loss against Vancouver.
6th of April.
And lastly, you're breaking in some new khakis on game day. How do they feel?
Good. Yeah. It's a great day for football.
What's the most natural element for a 300-pound former NFL lineman, you ask? Put him on the most slippery surface known to mankind, throw some skates on him, and that's exactly what we did for today's Vice Versus.
Jeremy, at one point this team trailed by 11 points. What established the turning point in the first half? Jameson, thank you so much, joined by Mike Rupp and Kevin Weeks. And we are rocking here inside Heinz Field, a rivalry they describe as 50 years of hate, gentlemen. So when you look at the matchup between the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Philadelphia Flyers for the first time outdoors. Joining me now is Kelly Clays, the newest national champion. You just made history for your team winning the first ever NCAA national title. Describe this moment.
Well, Chase, here we sit in one of the most iconic football stadiums in all of college football. And on October 13th, after beating Wisconsin, you coined the phrase, the Revenge Tour, which continues at home against Penn State on Saturday. But take us into the mindset of what created the inspiration behind that slogan that lives on for Michigan football.
There for the finish. Michael Sadler's list of accolades could go on for 15 minutes, but he will go down in history as one of the best student athletes at Michigan State University. Not for me, though. I'll remember Mike for what he was off the field as one of my really close friends. As an aspiring broadcaster, I found myself working 4 different jobs just to stay afloat. On those days when I doubted my path, Mike was my light, believing in me before I believed in myself. He is why I'm here to tell you about him today. And in this atmosphere against your rival, how valuable are these 2 points with the outdoor game aside?
Now, Coming up on NHL Now, why have the Blue Jackets been able to string together 10 straight wins? We'll ask one of their captains, Boone Jenner, what's behind the streak.
The biggest storyline coming out of Friday's morning skate was that Nick Bonino did not partake in morning practice. He was labeled a day-to-day game time decision, but was last spotted walking on the team bus on crutches and in a walking boot.
Well, guys, 3 brothers and 1 school, not in your native state of Ohio. So, Andrew, starting with you, what is it like to play with your brothers and basically your whole family through your career here?
Yes, it's a
Lock of the night, Michelle.
I thought we had a
All
deal,
right.
Michelle. I thought we had a deal.
I'm with Sergeant Rudak and with these fans right here.
Oh,
Give me the
no.
Preds. Pack your suitcases,
No.
boys. This one's going
No.
7 games.
No.
They're too good at home.
Same, but we did good. 4 for 4.
We nailed it.
High five, my friend. And that's a way to do BTN Live as we wrap things up on this Tuesday. For John Crispin, Glenn Mason, I'm Michelle McMahon. Have a great rest of your week. Maybe try the Bird Box Challenge. I don't know. Go crazy. Goodbye.